So let's start making drawings in AutoCAD, and we'll start it with line command. So you can start any command in AutoCAD by two different ways. So you can either select the command from the panels on these tabs, or you can use its command equivalent. So in this case, if you want to start the line command, you simply have to click on this line icon or the line tool. Alternatively, you can also use its command equivalent line or its command shortcut L, and you can simply press enter to start the command. So let's type L and press enter, and here also we have this line command. Now after starting a command, you'll notice that this command line will show in bold letters the name of the command or the command equivalent of that command, and also the instructions that you can follow to make the geometry. So in the first case, let's make a simple rectangle with a length of 10 units and a width of 5 units using the line command. So now here it's prompting you to specify the first point. So let's click anywhere in the drawing area to specify the first point. And here we have it. Now make sure that this polar tracking, object snap and object snap tracking is turned on for making this rectangle, and we'll learn about these status bar options later on in this course. Let's now move our cursor towards right side and enter a length of 10 unit and press enter. So now you'll notice that depending upon the current scale of your drawing, the line may be very small just like this, or it may be of very large size. So you need to zoom in and zoom out in order to fit that line in our drawing area. So now here we have it, the line of length 10 units. Now we need to make another line in the upward direction. So move your cursor in the upward direction and you'll see this green tracking vector. That simply means your line is completely vertical now, and enter the next distance, which is 5, and press enter. Now move it towards left and once again enter a distance of 10 units, press enter, and now you can move downwards and enter a distance of 5 units, and that will close the rectangle. Or you can simply type C on the command line for close and press enter, and this will close the complete rectangle like this. So using line command, we have made this rectangle of length 10 unit and 5 unit, and it's fairly simple to do this. But there is another method of doing this as well. So let's now erase this complete rectangle, and now we'll bring this UCS in the drawing area. And in order to bring it directly, you can click on this zoom extents option, and now you can bring it here. So now we will again make the rectangle, the same rectangle of length 10 unit and width 5 unit, but this time instead of using the direct distances, we will use the coordinates. So let's go to the line command, and now let's start the rectangle from the origin. So we need to specify the first point as 0, 0 and press enter. And now you'll notice that the cursor snaps automatically to the origin. Now we need to specify the second point, which will be somewhere at this place. And here we know that the length of the line should be 10. So the X value should be 10 and the Y value is 0 because its distance in Y direction is completely 0. So I'll type 10, 0, press enter, and here we have it, the line of length 10 units in this direction. Okay, now we need to make this line in upward direction, and its length should be 5 units. So its coordinates will be 10, 5, because the value in x-axis is already 10, and we are taking it to a height of 5 units also, so that will also add up. So the total value will be 10, 5 for the coordinates. Press enter. Okay, now we need to go to this point, and the coordinate for this point will be x0 and y5, because we don't have any value in the x, we only have a height here. So let's type 0, 5, and here we have it. Now we need to return back to the origin, and for that we simply need to type 0, 0 and press enter, and here we have it, the rectangle. Now press enter again to exit this command. So these are the two different ways of making the rectangle. Now this method will not work, the method of using coordinates will not work if you use any other point instead of origin as the starting point. So let's do this again, and in this case I'll select the line command once again, and now I'll click somewhere inside this rectangle. And now we need to make a rectangle of length 10 units, so I'll use the same coordinate value, which is 10, 0, and now press enter, and you'll notice that instead of making a horizontal line of length 10, the line is snapping to this endpoint, which is the actual 10, 5 value. So if you're not making any geometry from the origin, and if you're making it from anywhere randomly in the drawing area, then you need to use the relative coordinate system. And it's quite simple. You only need to add an @ sign before the coordinates. So if you want to make another rectangle, let's say that the rectangle should be somewhere over here. So for that, start the line command, click anywhere, and now just type @10, 0. Now AutoCAD will assume this point, the starting point, as the origin, and now it will make a line of length 10 units. Now if you want to take this cursor upwards, and if you want to make a line in upward direction, you can again type @0, 5, because in this case the origin will shift to this point. So whenever you will add an @ sign, the origin will shift to the previous point where you have clicked. So if this is origin and we want to make a line of length 5 units in the upward direction, so the coordinate of that point will be 0, 5. So let's press enter, and here we have it. Now we need to make another line here, and in this case we are moving in the left direction. So again I'll type @ and this time I need to enter -10 because we are making it in the left direction, and the left direction is always negative. And we don't need to add any value in the y-axis, so I'll type y as 0 and now press enter. Here we have it. Now we need to move to this point, and in this case we need to move downwards in y-axis, and x-axis value is 0. So let's type @0, -5 and press enter to return back to the origin, and press enter again. So this system might be a little bit confusing to you, so don't worry about this. We'll practice this later on in this course, and you can always come back to this lesson after practicing some of the drawings, and then you will be able to use this relative coordinate system quite easily. So this was an introduction to the line command, and also an introduction to making geometries using the absolute and relative coordinate system. In the next lesson, I will tell you about making the lines or making the geometries using the polar coordinate system.